Thank you so much for staying with us. Now, as a new graduate, the job market can be a daunting and competitive space to navigate. With so many qualified candidates vying for a limited number of positions, it can be challenging to stand out and secure your dream job. Now, that's why we've enlisted the help of a seasoned HR practitioner to share their insights and advice on what new graduates need to succeed in today's job market. Now, joining us is Tuda Haitula. Tuda, thank you so much for joining us this evening.
Good evening. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So we saw it all over our friends' social media, or even if you pass by a safari, of course, you saw the black gowns and the relations of the parents who are so happy about, of course, their children who just recently graduated. But if we look at what, some of the most important skills and qualities that new graduates should highlight on some of their resumes and cover, what are some of those tips that you can, of course, give them?
All right, thank you very much. And I think to start off, I would like to congratulate all the graduates that graduated last week. And I believe there will be more graduations again in the coming weeks.
Yeah.
And to address the question that you asked, I think there's two important components that we need to look at. Number one is a cover letter, and then number two is your CV. So I think for your cover letter, number one, it needs to be very personal. So it should be personalized to the specific job and company, and address the hiring manager by name if possible, and mention why you're interested in that company and the position. And all of this information, you are most likely to find it on the advert. That is where you find the due date, the person to address, the company, and then you also need to do additional research, such as on their website or through the media, to see what they are currently doing, and then also look at their values, the mission and the vision, and how you can also include that in your cover letter. And then you also need to demonstrate enthusiasm. So show your enthusiasm for the role and the company. You also need to explain why you are excited about the opportunity and how your skills and experiences align with the company values and goals. So in your cover letter, you also need to be specific that, I see that your values look at integrity, and that is something that I can possibly bring to the table or to the team. And then you also need to highlight relevant skills and experiences in your cover letter. So especially your most relevant skills and experiences that are specific to the job that you are applying for. It's important to inform the potential employer that this is what I have, this is what I know, and also how are you going to use that within the company to contribute towards attaining their objectives or their values. And then also it needs to be a very professional formatting. It needs to be well structured, no errors. These are the small things that we tend to ignore. Like, is the document well aligned? Are you starting your sentences with capital letters? Because if you miss out on some of the small things, then it's going to appear that you are not a precise individual, and perhaps you will be the suitable candidate to join the organization. And then on the aspect of the CV or the resume, depending on where you're coming from, your contact details need to be very visible. This is your number and your email address. And in cases where you mostly travel or you are out of network areas, put a secondary number that can be contacted should you not be within an area that has a network. And then on your CV, again, you need to have your relevant experience, whereby you list your most recent your work experience, and followed by the previous ones, followed by your qualifications as well, and then skills, achievements, and then also you need to list the different languages that you speak and the references. But in everything that you do, whether in your cover letter or your CV, just look at the advert. Most of the information will be there, as well as the requirement that they need from you as an applicant.
Very well. Briefly, Tuda, what are some common mistakes that graduates or new graduates rather make, during job search processes, and how can they avoid them? If you can just give us a short answer, please.
Okay, I would just like to reiterate on the points that I mentioned earlier on, that whatever the recruiting company is looking for, that information is going to be on the advert. And most cases, applicants make a mistake where they address the email to the wrong person, and there's even small things like your email subject should read application junior accountant, but now you are going to put in your subject line application for job. So small things like that indicate that you're not paying attention to detail, and it can also cost you a lot, especially with a new graduate where we know that the market is not so wide. So if you have 2 or even 10 applicants that have similar or the same qualifications, and then there's one that has a proper subject line heading, someone whose documents are attached in one PDF, that is the person that they are going to go for, and not the person that has a lot of silly mistakes. So it's always important that you follow the information on the advert and then you apply as such.
All right. Now, lastly, to the salary negotiation as a new graduate could also be a daunting, and considering the lack of experience. So, how then can they, negotiate their salary and benefits effectively, and what factors should they consider in this process? Briefly, please.
Okay. When it comes to salary negotiation, it's a bit unfair to the applicants because companies know how much they are willing to pay. And then the unfortunate part on the applicants is that you never know how much this organization is willing to pay. So sometimes you might undervalue yourself, and then the company will give you that because it's a win for them. I think what you can do is, as an applicant, you need to know the value of your cost of living. So you need to look at your accommodation, your transport, your health, your savings, and all of that. And then also in line with the position. So that is a possible amount that you could give to a possible employer. Alternatively, you can also, and I think if the company is also recruiting and negotiating in good faith, you can ask them to make you an offer if you are the successful candidate, and then you can take the negotiations forward after that.
Now, you currently offer a service. Tell us about it, and how can not only new graduates but general can they reach you about your services?
All right. Thank you very much. Yeah. So the services that I offer centered around the human resources consultation. So there's interview coaching, candidate preparation for jobs, and all of that, and then resume review, job search strategy, as well as career development guidance. And anyone that would like to reach me, they can contact me on my email address, which is htuuda@outlook.com. I'm not sure if it's visible on the screen, but yeah, that is the email address. Yeah. And then my contact number will be 081-3436-832.
Thank you so much, Tuda. Thank you so much for making the time to talk to us. And of course, all the best with you in your endeavors.
All right. Thank you for having me.
All right, that was Tuda Haitula, of course, an HR specialist, just talking to us about, of course, graduation and providing them with tips on how they can get ready to step into the job market, of course, with all applications and henceforth.